Hello, welcome, it's me again. I'm just going to set up the chat. Hang on, put it down here. A catch up from yesterday, really. Might be quite short. I always say that. I always start these streams by saying it might only be 10 minutes, but yeah, I'm hoping it's no longer than about an hour, I would hope. Because I've got to go and do my shopping collection. As much as I'm dreading going out, I've got to go and do it. The strange thing is, I ended up going out already once actually, because somehow we ended up with 2 delivery slots, and I had to go and cancel it. The phone system was absolutely useless. They weren't helping me. They couldn't cancel it. It was too late to cancel it, so I had to go down and yeah, deal with it. It only took a few minutes, but nevertheless, I've been out once already. It's first time I've been out in about 3 weeks or something. Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for joining. We might not get many people this time today. It's kind of like lunchtime-ish, isn't it? So I thought just first of all finish off this, so you can see lots of progress doing that this morning, fitting all those caps there. Most of the caps are on there. It's got literally 2 SMD ones to fit, one down here, and where's the other one? Up here, and then the 3 through holes. There's like one here, and yeah, these 2 up here. I can't get it on camera because the way the camera's pointing. So we'll just get those 2 SMD ones on first, and then I'm going to show you something that drove me nuts last night actually. After yesterday's stream, I kid you not, I spent about an hour and a half tearing my hair out with the floppy drives on that A4000 we were looking at. You know, we tested them on that stream there, and they both worked, and there was no issues. So of course, as soon as the stream finished, I thought, I'm going to have another play around with them. So I connected them up, and I think I experimented with a jumper that changes from internal to external. And at that point, all hell broke loose, and actually I couldn't get the drives working. I was like, oh my god, have I destroyed the CIA? What's happening here? Is it ESD? It drove me nuts, and I posted a fair bit on Twitter. Stephen Leary was helping me, and 1 or 2 other people. But yeah, messages were bouncing to and from me and Stephen, and I was trying to understand how the drive selection logic works on those. I'll talk about it more when we go over there. Anyway, let's get these on. The main thing is I've solved it. Yeah, I've solved it. Well, I think I've solved it. I need to solve it on this stream. I still don't really know what the issue is, so I've kind of been waiting to share it with you guys so you can see the crazy behaviour, and we can together see what the actual cause was. Yeah, it is, I think, because I think it's still doing it. You'll see. It's interesting nonetheless. Anyway, so I'll just get that cap lined up. Just give me a sec. Yeah, ear cap. Just bear with me. This is why I didn't want to do the whole recap like this. It'd be nothing more boring to watch than me faffing around trying to get these nice and straight. Incidentally, the print on some of these caps on the top is not straight to start with. So some of them, as you'll see from the top, can kind of look a bit crooked and not. It's just the print is well out on 1 or 2 of them. The 22s are awful. These are 22s up here, and they kind of look like they're pointing the wrong way. You can't. There's no way to align them so that the print looks straight. You've just got to go with the pads. I'll touch that now. But in general, yeah, I mean, you can just literally, solder one side, and then you can, to a degree, just move the thing around until it's in approximately the right position. It's pretty quick. It's probably took me maybe an hour to do the others, because I did take my time. I wasn't really going at it full pelt with these. Just a little bit of solder like that, and then you can just bob into it to reflow it. I don't want to touch the cap. One thing I have found is this Heiko has been brilliant with these caps, because some of the points are really small. Well, they're all small, but you know what I mean. Like trying to get the iron to that gap down there was incredibly difficult, and the one up here was incredibly difficult. But with that iron, it's been super light work. So that's one. There's just one more, and then we'll just do the 2 through holes. It may well be a 20-minute video, this one, because I ain't got anything else beyond the 2 things I want to show you here. But as I say, I need to go out and do my shopping anyway. Well, collect my shopping. Let me just check that's the right way around. Sorry, it's going to be ear cam again for a sec. This should be hopefully the last instance of the ear cam in this video. Apologies if you can't really see what I'm doing just now. There we go. Just carefully move the board a little bit. Oh, which one it is now? Oh, it's the one right next to this connector here, isn't it? Let's just move it up that way a little bit. See if I can give you a better angle. Yeah, I think you can see the pad there. Yeah, it's about straight as I'm going to get it. So, I mean, you could captain tape off the connection stuff there, but I've been very careful as I've done this. I'm not needed to captain tape anything. The key really is this iron from Dermot. It's got such a small point on it, it's ideal for this. I've got a crazy point of solder there. Let's just see if I can remove some of that. Yeah, there we go. Most of that's come off there now. Just refloat the side again. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's all of the SMD caps. I'm out a little bit. The other thing I did as well, that I said I was going to do, is chop off. Do you remember this plastic thing here? It was melted on the end, that little sticky thing. So yeah, I just cleaned up the end of that as well. But that's all those SMD caps done now. As I say, for those just joining, these 22s are perfectly straight in relation to the pads. It's the print on the can which makes them look a bit off, and it's the same with one or two others. Let me just catch up with the chat set. Oh, donation there, Retro Revolutions again. $2 New Zealand. Thank you very much for a good job, good luck. Hi guys, cheers, hi. Simcox, hi again. Stephen White, and Moggets, modeler, strange looking Amiga. Yeah, it's a CD32, this one. I removed the caps in the previous video. It was a bit boring to watch because it was quite time consuming. It took the longest to remove the caps to install them. I probably spent about, I don't know, an hour in total, I think, recapping it, putting the caps back on. And I've been taking my time with it, that's the thing. Amiga Fantastic 1980, I'm having issues with two A1200 motherboards. No video output from one motherboard, either composite or RGB, and other composite output on the other. Any ideas what it can be? Well, capacitors probably. Capacitors have probably damaged some traces somewhere. I mean, the one that's giving no video at all, if the traces and things are all okay, maybe the video DAC has failed completely in some way. That's a possibility. What you want to do with those, really, anything that's not giving video, is get diagram. I mean, this is a CD32, but yeah, get diagram onto your A1200. Create a serial cable, which is fairly easy to do. You've seen the connectors that I did when I sorted out the serial port, that's A500 in a previous video there. You want a serial port connection that will connect to your A1200 on the back, and it's just pins 2 and 3, the receive and transmit, and you can connect those up to one of those little modern, what they call, there's a few manufacturers of them, it's like a USB to serial adapter, like £2 or £3 off eBay. If you search for USB serial, you'll find lots of them at USB to RS232. And then that way you can connect up to a PC, get some terminal software on your PC, put it in like 9600 baud rate, 8 bits, 1 stop bit, I think, no parity, I think is default. Try that. Connect up the Amiga, power the Amiga on with diagram, and diagram, I think you press a key or click the mouse button or something, and it'll default the output to the serial port. And that way you'll be able to see what the Amiga is doing, if anything. If you get nothing across the serial port, then yeah, you know, it's not booting, is it? You might have a problem with corrosion somewhere, maybe damaging some traces, some critical traces, address lines, data bus lines, etc. But yeah, Amiga PCB Explorer, that's the other thing to consider. Have a look at the board, see if you can find any corrosion, and then go to Amiga PCB Explorer to help you test connectivity and stuff and work out what goes where. Right, let's just get these through-hole caps off. I might need to increase the temperature. I'm just going to use the solder sucker here, but I'll use the Heiko. Might need more heat than it's currently providing. I might just bump it up to 480 actually for these. We'll just see. Try it on 410. Yeah, let's go a bit higher. You know, the ground and VCC rails on these two caps here, they tend to be a bit more problematic if you're trying to use a solder sucker. I don't want to use the solder station if I can help, because, well, for 3 caps it's not worth it. My wife's working at the moment. I don't want to disturb her with the noises. Did anyone try soldering tweezers? Yeah, I think my mate Vince has got some soldering tweezers. Hang on, Cat wants to come in. Come on, Rosa. Can you come? Yeah, my mate Vince has used those a fair bit. I think Lewis Rosman might use soldering tweezers, or what's it called? iPad Rehab. I've seen them on that channel as well. I've never tried them. Retro Evolutions, with that 9600 baud rate on a USB to serial converter using null modem. When you say, yes, I think it is classed as a null modem cable, isn't it? It's like pin 2 goes to pin 3, you know, receive goes to transmit, and transmit goes to receive. You're swapping, you know, the two around there. And on the serial port on the Amiga, it's dead simple because it's like pin 2, pin 3. But when you get one of those little USB adapters, I'll perhaps show you one in a later stream. When you get one of those little USBs to serial adapters, it's a tiny little PCB about that big. It's got a USB connection on one side that you plug into your PC, and on the other side, there's like 4 solder points, I think, and you'll have like receive, transmit. There might be clear to send and something else, and it's just the RTX and you know, receive. I think it's RTX and what's the other one? The transmit. Receive and transmit. There's just 2, and you just join those up to the pins 2 and 3 on the Amiga serial port. Are traces easy to repair if damaged? Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of trace repair examples throughout my channel. You just need to watch. You need to use, you know, little pieces of Kynar or a single piece of coil white, depends where the fault is, where the damage is, and what the most easiest logical way to fix it is. Sometimes it's a case of, let's say, just replacing a wire entirely with a little bit of Kynar from somewhere where that damaged trace starts to somewhere where it's intended to go, and that might be on the bottom side of the board, it might be on the top side of the board. It really depends on what it is you're fixing. On something SMD like this, you might be limited. You might have to solder a wire on the top side where the damage is, because sometimes the connections that you want to solder onto are not exposed on the underside at any location. If you're lucky, sometimes there might be a wire nearby and you can trace that through to the other side and make a connection from there. It's just, yeah, I'm going to pull this through, I think, and then unblock the holes. I don't want to be faffing with this for too long. Yeah, so it's coming off pretty easy, that temperature. It's just not unblocking so easy. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. Yeah, you shouldn't really have to pull it too much. If it's, you know, if you're having to pull it a lot, it's not heated up enough. That's the thing. I mean, this is crazy. So it's a crazy high temperature here. Look, and it's still not quite right. It's making squeaking noises because it's resistant to movement there. There you go. And you don't want to fight that. You don't really want it to be squeaking when you're removing things like that. The pads will come off with it, or through hole come off. Those caps are always a problem. I remember these being a pain when I did my CD32. There we go. I hope they unblock easily enough. That was the one thing I do remember. I remember spending ages trying to unblock the blooming things. But I've got better kit since then, so yeah, see, that looked like that unblocked. But it can look like it's unblocked on one side and it hasn't. You know, the other side might still be blocked. Let's just see. There we go. I'm hoping not to make a mountain out of this. It should be a molehill. Yeah, there we go. See the holes through the other side there. No worries at all. So that's one. Let's just get the other one off as well. We'll test these on the meter in a minute as well. I was going to show you that. I've got that new ESR meter here. We can test some of the caps that have been removed. Something else I was going to show you. I left this on here to show you actually. This is a from manufacturer bit of solder stuck on there. Look, that's nothing I've done. I noticed it right at the very start. I'm not convinced I just got rid of that actually. Let's just push that. So where are the pins for this one? No, I can't see it. That's there. Okay. Yeah, it's these points here. That one's really short. I'll do the same thing. I'll just pull it through, I think, when we get to temperature. Something the eagle-eyed might have noticed yesterday, when we removed some of those caps, I think one of them, a resistor nearby, must have heated up and got, when I moved the cap out of the way with the thing there, I must have shoved it into the resistor, and it moved the resistor. So I had to just heat and reflow that before, just to put it back in position. It wasn't shorting anywhere or anything, it was just like misaligned because it had got, you know, the solder had got molten from heating the caps and things around there. There we go. That didn't take too long. Let's just unblock the holes again. Let's go add a little bit of fresh solder. Sorry, now my hand's blocking. That's one. And in case you haven't seen yesterday's or my previous video on this, these caps that I've just removed, these ones, they're usually the wrong way around. So, you know, the negative and positive are flipped, and they shouldn't be. But I do know that on this one they were right, which is weird. It caught me a bit by surprise, that. So here they are, thousands. And the ground needs to be nearest the modulator. That's the easiest way to remember these when you're doing these. Ah, yeah, you can see it's marked incorrectly on the board there. There's a plus there. Actually, that needs to be the ground. Let's just confirm that. Make sure I'm not going off my... I'm going to make a mistake. Hang on. I seem to attach my meter to the power supply over there. Yeah, I've got meter on continuity. So you can see we've got two pads there. That one's marked plus, that one's marked negative. I think that one's right, actually. Hang on. Yeah, that's right. This one, though, it looks like the plus. Hang on, that was right as well, so I don't know. I don't know how there was ever a mistake there from the factory, because the silkscreen seems to be correct, actually. Hang on. Let me just do a sense check on this. Oh, I'm looking at the SMD pads. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the SMD pads. It's the through-hole ones. Hang on a minute. Let's just try that again. Because I'm sure that silkscreen's wrong. Or something. There must be some reason why they get it wrong at the factory. Got it wrong at the factory. So if we look at that one again, that should be the ground, the one nearest the bottom there. So let's just test from the modulator. Yeah, that's right. So the one nearest to the edge of the board here, which one is the ground. And that one there, again nearest to the you know, the ground thing here, that's the ground. So let's get that cap on. Let's do that one. That's it. Just flip it over. Just bend these a little bit. Put some solder in. Again, I'm going to give it extra time here because you saw how hard it was to get it off. You do want the solder to kind of go into the through hole properly. Try and catch up with chat in a minute, guys. Just get these two out of the way. I'll just cut that off. So I'll go quite low. Typically, as I say, I'll reflow these again anyway. Otherwise, you get quite sharp solder points on them. You can look weird shapes. It's probably a little bit needs cutting off that one still. That one's not so bad. Yeah, that one's still a bit long there. That'll do. So that's one down. Yeah, so the negative towards the modulator can hold that ground pad. That's probably the easier way of remembering that. So let's get the other one on. Again, negative towards the switch. You see, you can tell it's not heating up properly as well, because I've got my finger on the cap on the other side. It's not even warm. That gives you a clue that the board is absorbing all that heat there. Big blob there. Hang on. Right, so let's do that one. And trim them off. Right, trim them down a bit. I'm going to need to trim these ones down a couple of times, I think, because I've got giant blobs of solder there. Successfully making a mess of that. Let's just trim it down more. Just add some fresh solder with a bit of flux. Let's just remove some of that actually. Oop, sorry, knocking camera. There we go, just about that. That's it, let's just clean those with cotton bud and I'll catch up. We've got one more obviously, the other one might be a bit easier, so then we're done with the caps. Retro Revolutions, oh thank you. It's enjoyable watching someone else mod and repair stuff in real time. Kevin Cullen, thank you very much, Kevin. The donation there. Oh, and Alan Vizjak, can't say that. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I'm useless at some foreign names. Vizjak. What country are you from? That sounds like Croatia or somewhere like that, perhaps. What's BAM? Always interested to understand where people are from and your country and stuff. Hang on, I can't think what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My mind's on the caps, that's the problem. Yeah, you'll be pleased to know that I've already cleaned up the top side. There's only those two SMDs that I hadn't done, so the top side is very clean. Yeah, so that's that one. Where's the other one? I see it's here. Lots of flux around there. Look. God, that's really well and truly baked on there. It will be though, because we had heat for an extended period of time. But the amazing thing with these boards is they're so resilient when it comes to things like that. You know, we've not lost any of this solder mask or anything off that there, despite the crazy heat that was needed to deal with those two. It's going to be a multi-layer board though, isn't it? Again, perhaps 6 layers maybe, I don't know. 4 layers at the very least, I would think. What you tend to find with these though is like you've got the main trace has gone the inside and outside layers, the ones that are visible, the top and bottom, and the inner layers tend to be, you know, for ground and power. I like it when it's like that, because then something does go wrong, it's easier to diagnose. You know, more modern things like PC motherboards, you're absolutely knackered if something fails in an internal layer somewhere. Or if you get like some sort of shorts and it melts around that area and causes problems with you know, the layers that are nearby or underneath. Lewis Rosman covers things like that, doesn't he, on some of the things he's looking at. I've seen him do some, and iPad Repat I've seen some amazing repairs there, dealing with scratching off the layers so you can actually expose a layer underneath to see something that you wouldn't normally have access to. Retro Revolutions, do you use a 4060 solder mix? Yes, I do. I use standard 4060 solder with lead in it most of the time. I've got lead-free solder as well. I mean, technically you're supposed to, perhaps legally maybe, use lead-free solder for if you're making things and selling things. You know, there's like you've got to be ROHS up to that standard, haven't they? I think, or something like that. Anything you sell. So there's still a little bit of flux there. Anyway, I can clean that off later. Let's not focus too much on that now. I will be going over it again before I send it back just to make sure everything's clean. I'm trying to find where that cap is there. Hang on. It's not obvious. It's like some of the connections here or something, that one. I honestly cannot see them. I think it's those two there. Let's just do this one and then we can test it. And then I'll show you that crazy floppy thing. With this one, I could just literally use the solder sucker, I think. We'll see how easy it is. No, absorb a lot of heat, this one. It must be on a power rail. Because, let me just show you. Can you see this, the big area here? All this here is all connected to that left-hand pin, that cap. That's why you need lots of heat, lots of power. It's not necessarily temperature, it's about the thermal capability of your iron. How much, because this sinks the heat. If your iron can produce, it's got a big amount of thermal power, it might be like 70 watt or 80 watt or 100 watt. That translates into the heat, the temperature not dropping because it doesn't sink it. It just powers it straight into the board, kind of thing. It's coming off that. What I should be doing is looking to see which way out the cap is actually, because I haven't checked to see where its positive is and its negative is. Yeah, its negative was towards this side here. So that's off. Let's just let's unblock the holes. This is the last one on this board. Last cap. Sorry, I'm going to block it here. Oh. That's what I didn't want it to do. It's dumped a load of particles on the board now. Yeah, that one's unblocked. That one hasn't. So close to each other, those as well. That's the problem. Sorry, I know it's hand cam here, isn't it? It's going to be difficult to unblock that one actually, because it is this whole area here. It's giving it crazy time here. Oh, don't start doing this now, stupid thing. It's, yeah, almost unblocked that, didn't it? Let's try a bit of braid on it. Where's my braid gone? And now I've lost the flux. Where's the flux? Flux is over here. Let's just add a bit of dedicated flux there, not a lot. I'm nearly out of this roll of braid here actually. And flux. I've only got a couple of tubes of flux left. So it's A4000 have consumed so much of it. Oh, it's not going to play ball, that is it? Let's look on the other side. Oh, you can see there, can you see? It's that little bead of solder. Hates doing some of these. It's just the odd ones. It's the through holes I don't like on these. If that bead of solder wasn't there on the other side, technically I could just put the cap. In fact, let's just do that. Let's do what I was about to describe there, which is to just get a tiny bit of that there, clean that little blob off on this side, and then we can literally push the cap into the hole and just heat it from the other side. It'll go through really easily then. You've got to question, is my time best spent trying to desolder that hole when it seems, oh, it's come out now with a bit of braid, actually it's unblocked. There we go. So there's mileage in trying it from either side. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a blockage there, but anyway, that's that. Let me just clean that side, because obviously it's going to have a cap over it, isn't it? So clean it now. Knocked all the cotton buds out. something else actually I need to get. I'll have to, when I go to get my shopping at 2, or just after 2, I'll have to go and get some cotton buds as well. Yeah, it's just down here. Just where that flux. So the last one is here. This one's a 16 volt 470, and it was negative towards the edge of the board there, wasn't it? So let's get that on. Is it going to go in now? No, it's not, is it? It's one of those where it looks like it's unblocked and it isn't. So we will be able to do, I think, what I described, which is to kind of align it with its hole, if I can. Hang on. Yeah, align it with its hole and then just press, heat this side and press until it goes through. See that? Yeah, so a bit of a crazy technique there. I shouldn't need to do that in an ideal world. And again, if maybe if I got the desolder station onto it, it might not have needed to do that. It might have unblocked it. But that desolder station is about the same, or if not less, thermal power than the Heiko, actually. But anything the Heiko can do, that desolder station's about the same. I should bridge both of those together. Look at that. Spectacular blob of solder in the middle. Yeah. They're so close together though, there's such small points there, that's the problem. Right, let me press it from the other side. Just want to make sure it's flat. And again, we'll tidy up the solder points in a minute. That's it. Just trim those down. Let's have a quick look at it. Yeah, that's looking alright, isn't it? It's fine, it's flat and flush. So, one quick clean and then we'll go over to the mat. Well, so the mat, the box. We'll go over there, kit it up and try it. And I'll show you the floppy drive stuff. In fact, before we wheel over there, I've got a box here as well that's just arrived. So we'll have a quick look at that. It's only going to take a minute. A really kind donation from Ian Scott Johnson. He's got a really good YouTube channel. I'll post a link to it later in the description to this video and in the comments there. You should check out his channel. He's a really smart, clever guy. He's got his own home lab, actually, you know, his own workshop there. It's a really nice setup he's got. But he builds all sorts of stuff himself and designs things and test equipment and stuff. He produces like specialist test equipment. There's nowhere else you can buy the sorts of things he sells, really. Certainly the prices he sells them for. I mean, they are expensive, but compared to other stuff, they're not. They're affordable. But it is. He does some really nice stuff over there, and he shares a lot of it on his channel as he's creating things. And he did a mod to his alarm system at home, didn't he? I think he connected it to his phone or something like that. He connected something up to it like that. I'm sure he did. I just vaguely remember that. But that was a really good video. Right, so that's mostly clean and tidy now. All of the caps done. We'll test that in a sec. I'll show you that box now. I'll just move you over here a sec. Yeah, look, it's a cardboard box. Anyway, let's open it up. I haven't actually read this. I just had a quick look to make sure there was no address or anything in there. There isn't. It's just a letter. So, hi Chris, I sold all my ZX stuff last year, but recently found the enclosed. No idea if the ICs work. The transistors are brand new, and replacements for those in Spectrum. Have fun. Thank you very much, Ian. Ian Scott Johnson. So, what have we got in here? There's a few bags. Let's put them down here. Yeah, that's it. It's only a small box, but there's a lot of stuff in there. More than I was expecting. I'll catch up with comments in a sec, guys. So, we've got in here some chips. So let's just put them on there. Should have the SD strap on, really. Oh, wow. So, we've got some Sinclair ROMs, look there. Not sure what that is. I'm guessing that's going to be a ROM. Yeah, 128K, look. Another ROM, a Z80. Oh, fantastic! I need a Z80 because I've got none left now. I'll test that after. And then we've got here some 7.4 series stuff that's used on the Spectrum. Look, excellent. Fantastic. I didn't expect to be receiving this many things. I thought it was just a few transistors you were going to send. Ooh, looks like some RAM there as well. Yeah, because I was out of that. I mentioned I've not got any 4116 RAM there, so I've got some of that. Some more 41164, I think. Sorry, 4116. What are these here? Again, look like RAM chips, don't they? Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So thanks ever so much for that, Ian. You might not be watching at the moment, I'm not sure, but I'm very, very pleased with those. That is just incredible that you would go to the expense of sending me all those. So I'll have a tinker with those later and work out what's what's what. So I've got another ESD bag here. Let's have a look inside this. Is this more RAM? Oh, transistors. Look, transistors just fell out. So I should be doing it on the mat with ESD. The strap on voltage regulator, I think. CMOS Z80s. Very nice. Transistors, fantastic. Brilliant. Got loads of those now. And some more 4116 RAM there. So yeah, that's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Just put these things away. There's just one more bag. We'll fly over to the mat. So yeah, that's kind of tempted me to look for some more Spectrums now, actually. See what we can do with regards to repairing more Spectrums. Let me just plug the camera into power a sec, because I just realised it's not been charging all that while. It is a bit low actually, 21%. So yeah, in this bag here we've got some miscellaneous bits and pieces. Look, heat sinks, a speaker, one of the rubber feet things you get on the pluses, I think, on the underside there. Some bits of ribbon and stuff, cartridge slot there. That might be useful if you want to do a homebrew cart slot. Not cart slot, homebrew ROM board or something, a ROM board, a ROM card. Anyway, very cool. Thank you ever so much for that, Ian. I owe you one. So I'll just put those out of the way. So let's catch up with comments. Go back to live charts. Yeah, if I miss anything, send it to me directly with @GadgetUK164 if you've got a question. It's important because I'm bound to miss the messages here. Oh, Stephen Leary's here. Hi, Stephen. Or he was here. He might not no longer be. He may have got bored watching me finish the recap. Anyway, let's go over there. I'm just thinking about power actually. What I don't want to do is have this phone go flat, because we're going to be over there for longer than we were here perhaps. Well, I don't know, it might only take 10 minutes and then we might be done. Yeah, I'll take you over there and then I'll just bring this power extension. That's the easiest thing, because I don't want to risk losing the stream entirely while we move. So let's just carefully, let's just first thing, there we go, I'm grounded. Grab that, let's just go over here. I'm just going to temporarily put that board on that table there a sec. Point you down here. So, in fact, we can start by looking at this. It's the easiest thing. Just bear with me. So let me just bring the charger over. Right, I'm bringing the Mac as well here, so chat. Sorry about that. Just plug this in now. Should be good to go. I need to switch the power on over here as well anyway. That's it. Right, we're sorted. I think, if I can find the cable. Yeah, so this is a follow-on to the floppy drive stuff we had yesterday. We'll have a look at that board in a minute, by the way, that Amiga CD32 board, to see if it works. Should work. I've got no Reason to suspect it won't work. But this is what we were looking at yesterday. We were looking at these two drives here, the Commodore one, and I'll bring it to shot, this one. So we had both these drives connected up, and everything was working, wasn't it? So the stream ended, and then I got the genius idea to experiment and do a bit of learning in relation to the jumper up here. Let me see if I can show you. I have to lift the camera. See that jumper there? Internal, external. So I switched it across to external, expecting that DF0 would be remapped to the first drive in the chain here. And that is exactly how it's supposed to work. But after having done that, we're in the situation we are now, and I'll show you this. Let's disconnect that. Let's just plug one in. I can kind of show you this. I'm just going to chain these drives up so that both drives are connected. And I'm hoping it behaves exactly like last night. It did do this morning when I retested it. So we've got two drives connected there. We should have DF2 and DF3, I think. And just make sure everything's connected up. It is. Find the power switch. Where's the power switch gone? It's under there. Look. Right, make sure nothing's shorting. Switch it on. I'll put it on the screen if I can. I've got the mouse here. So that's booting from floppy drive. It's easy to do it this way. And if I go to floppy drive, straight away you can see it's doing the same thing. Actually, let me zoom a little bit and point it upwards. Can you see that? It says DF0 present. That's the drive we boot from. DF3 present. So that's the second drive in the chain. No DF2. Now DF2. Zoom a little bit. DF2 should be this drive. If I test DF3, and I can show you this actually, if I go into DF3, hang on a sec. I'll just show you what I'm doing here. See up here, the signal test. If I click signal test, okay, from here you can choose one of these drives. You've got DF0, DF1, DF2, DF3, and it will interact with that drive. You'll start that drive doing something. So if I click DF3, watch. Yeah, that was the top drive. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just rearrange. Sorry, I know we're bouncing around. You can see it's LED, look. Press it again. Yeah, that's this drive. So DF3 is working. Now, the interesting thing is if I swap these two drives around so that this one with the black cable is connected to the back of the A4000 there, and the one with the grey cable is piggybacked in there, the opposite thing happens. So when we do DF3, instead of this one lighting, that one will light, but we still have no DF2. Does that make sense? So it's like, what's happened to DF2? Where's DF2 gone? This is where it started for me last night. I spoke to Stephen. Stephen was helping me trying to understand it. I did ask the question of how on earth does the drive selection work on these, the disk selection logic, which, you know, this DF0 stuff and DF1, DF2. It looked to me like it was just dead simple, like the select, you know, you use those signals there, DF0, underscore, what's it called, cell 0, underscore cell 1, underscore cell 2, underscore cell 3. And Stephen came back and confirmed that, and I thought, oh my god, if it's that simple, then there's something really crazy going on here. And I can show you with the logic probe here. I might need to just move around a little bit here, because it's going to be super fiddly to try and show you the logic probe at the same time. So if I can make drive, obviously it's on this, I want to make sure I don't short anything. Just put that there, like that should be okay. So I think you can hopefully just about see down here. Just looking at the screen to see if you can. So if we probe this pin down here, I think that's DF3. Hang on, got to be careful not to short anything. Now if I click on the screen and choose DF2, just watch. Yeah, I've just clicked DF2. Did you see that go high? What's happened is that's cell 3. This pin down here is cell 3, it's the select 3. Now if I click at DF3, just wait, watch, goes low. So it's selecting DF3. Now we know DF3 works. The next pin around on this side here is cell 2. So this should be for drive select 2, DS2. And if we look at that now, it's high. And if we select DF2, goes low. So straight away I was like, oh well, phew, that's a relief. That looks like the CIA is okay. Because as I say, there's 4 pins on here. You've got cell 3, cell 2, cell 1, cell 0. There's 4 pins there that are used to specify which of the 4 drives you are selecting. And I can continue on. If we go to the next pin here, that one's currently high. I've got to be really careful not to short these or I will create a CIA fault here. It's a bit daring of me trying to do this on a stream, to be fair. See, that's high. If we go to DF1, see it go low, pulse is low, and the same happens with DF0. It's high at the moment. If we go to DF0 and click it now, it goes low. And as that goes low, the other ones go high. And you can hear the interaction between the specific drive that is selected. So if I do that again, just listen. That's DF0. This one here, it's working. But the main thing is we see the signals there. So the question in my mind at that point was, well, how come we're seeing it here, but the drive is not doing anything? It just doesn't see a DF2. It only sees DF0, DF1, or DF3. DF2's gone missing somewhere. Well, it's not the CIA. So the next thing was to try and follow and understand how it works, and it's really, really simple. This jumper here that switches, it says X at the top, it says X DF0 int J352. So in the top position, you know, nearer to the top here, it's set to external. And looking at the schematics, that just simply connects DF3, sorry, not DF3, cell 3 from here, the 3rd select signal. It's sorry, when it's, I'm trying to think, get around the wrong way now. When it's in the bottom position, cell 3 is connected to the pin up here. Cell 3 is normal. So if you've got a DF3, that signal we've seen working on the corner pin down here, yeah, that should be going through the jumper to here. If you switch this jumper into the other position, it routes cell 0 out to where cell 3 would normally go here. In other words, whatever you've got as DF3 plugged into here will suddenly become DF0. It's your boot drive. You can actually boot from an external drive. So that's a nice fix, not really fix, nice thought by Commodore there to add facility so that you can boot from an external floppy drive. I do like that. But it's that simple. So I'm like, well, if the signal's coming out of here and all it's doing is going to this jumper and the jumper is bridged, yeah, and the first thing I did is just take this jumper off and put it back on and test it again. Still wasn't working. So then I'll show you, and it's not working at the moment, as you've seen. If I probe this pin here, hopefully you'll be able to see this. Look at the top pin, because you see it's high. And watch the bottom pin, and that's high. Now if I choose DF2 using an assist test here, hang on. Right, oh, it's working now. Just from a bit of pressure on there, I could hear the drive, you heard it. A bit of pressure on this pin here, suddenly it's working. Now it's not. You can see it low, and if we go up here, hang on. What's going on here now? Hang on. Yeah, I've selected DF3 there now, so you can see it go high. Let's just try DF2 again. It's gone low there. Look at the middle pin. It's high. Can you see that? The middle pin's high, the bottom pin's low. This is a jumper here. How on earth, on one pin of the jumper, can you have a low and the other pin in the middle there have a high? I've took that jumper off and on, put it a few times, but the jumper is the issue. It's absolutely crazy. So I was going to just take the board over there and try and solder the 3 pins on the underside to see if that fixes it. Because I've taken this jumper off. Yeah, I don't know that you can see very well there, but it really was the case. I might be able to see it now still. The bottom pin there's low, and the middle pin is high, look. And can you see that? Can you see there's bridging them? I have never seen a jumper fail. But that's what it is. And if I put some pressure on it, hang on, it might do it. Yeah, it's not doing it. Anyway, so we'll take that board over there and solder that in a sec, but the next thing we should do, I think, now I've got that waffle out of the way, is just power all this off and get the CD32 connected up here. I'm back in a minute with this and just finish off by seeing if a bit of solder will solve that. But it would seem to be the jumper. And obviously the other thing, the logical thing, is just take that jumper off, put it in the bin and get another one. But the jumper looks fine. I don't get it. There's no corrosion in that area of the board. None whatsoever. It's bizarre. So let's pull this out of the way. I'm just going to get the ESD strap on before I grab that CD30 board. Should have done that really before I grabbed the 4000 board, but it'll be alright. So let's move all that stuff out of the way. Just rotate this around a bit. Pull the CD32 border up down. Connect up its power. Gotta hope all the caps are on the right way now. I did inspect most of them as I went along. There might just be the odd one that I've forgotten to check, like the last ones. Yeah, those two are definitely right. Where's the power switch now? Switch it on. Hang on, I need to change the TV onto the right channel. I'll point you up at the screen. In a minute, just move the wrist strap round and pull the thing over. Yeah, sorry I'm missing the comments, guys. I will catch up in a sec. I just got preoccupied showing you that stuff. It's like side, so let's switch the power on, see what happens. That's a good sign. That looks like that's starting to boot, doesn't it? I think. I mean, in theory, I could test this afterwards by sticking a TF330 on it. That would be an idea, wouldn't it? I don't really want to take my CD32 to bits to put drive on it, but anyway, the main thing is it's working. So yeah, as far as this video goes, I think we can. That was a success. That recap. What I might do is, if we do some of the things over the next few days or something, or later in the week, I could always test that 30 on there at the same time as well. See if it's working. Check the controller ports and stuff. A4000, if you clean the jumper, I am unsubscribing. There are limits. Yeah, well, let's resolder it and just see if that makes a difference, I think. The video's going to be done in a few minutes, I think, because we're getting near the end here now. Let me think about this. I need to take you back over there. I'll take you back over there. We'll take that board. I need to bring the extension back over as well, or we'll lose power. Just stick that there a sec. Point you down at the jumper. You can have a look at it. Is that one there? Look. Right, let's put that out of the way, and I just need the extension lead down. Extension lead. Put that back into there. That'll be a sec, guys. I swear my streams get gradually more disorganised as I go on. This is perhaps the most disorganised I've been while I've been doing these. It's going to be a 10-second job, this, isn't it, this? There we go. All of that rigmarole just to get power. So let's slip it over, if I can. Try and find the jumper now, where is it? Yes, there's three points here. Now I've inspected them and you know what, they look fine. They look absolutely fine. You know, I've even tried putting a little bit of pressure on the jumper from the other side, it looks fine. So it's one of these really mysterious ones. Anyway, let's heat it up anyway, because as the pins get hot, the jumper itself will get hot. If there's anything, any contaminant or anything on there, it can burn it off, if that makes sense. Sometimes just heating things, heating connectors can sometimes solve the problem. But what I have done is take that jumper on and off, on and off, on and off, to see if that will solve it. And well, I've got that solder there, look, I can see it. Stuck on it. Violet. That'll do. Yeah, the other thing that had me stressed about this is the one board. This is the one that's behaving. So this isn't the one that was being a pain. So I was like, oh no, don't tell me I've now got a fault with this board. Just as he's about to go back to Stephen, suddenly the floppy drive started playing up. To be fair, Stephen did also get back to me and say, Chris, don't worry about it. I don't use the external floppy drive anyway. Just leave it. But you know what I'm like, I had to get to the bottom of it one way or another, which is why last night I came in with a torch. Yeah, about 10 o'clock or something when it was pitch black, trying to understand what the problem was with the logic probe. And it was only when I actually probed the pins there, as you just saw, and went, hang on a minute, on one side of the jumper it's high and on in the middle it's low, you know, along the same thing there, you know, they're both joined. How can one side be high and one side be low? Got a bit of particle solder in the middle there. Anyway, that's cleaned up now. Let's get rid of that, whatever that is. And just for good measure, I know someone said they'd unsubscribe, but let's just pull it off. And where's the fiberglass pen gone? Let's just clean the pins here, because I don't understand it. They look fine again. If I inspect these, they look coppery, you know, goldy. They've not no corrosion whatsoever. It's ridiculous. I've never had this. Yeah. I mean, in theory, if that doesn't work, I could just replace this. Let's just try and, can we squish this a little bit? Let's just squish it, just a little bit, not a lot. Just in case it's not really gripping or something. But, I don't know, it's really mysterious. Connect it back up again. Yeah, it's on there, I can feel it rubbing up and down the pins, look. I'll give you a close up. Yeah, you can see, it's on there. It's definitely on there. Let's just measure it. Yeah. Just measure from one pin to the other. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm on the pin there, I might be on the plate. Yeah, flip it over, do it from the other side as well. There's no reason this shouldn't work now. They should have got a bit of fluff or something on there, look, I can see it. What's that? Piece of something, I don't know. Yeah, so we definitely got short. So there's no reason why that shouldn't work now. It's ridiculous though, it's the lengths I have to go to get a jumper to work. Let's put it back down there. Get my wrist strap back on. Rotate it around. Yeah, the big problem I've got here is I'm trying to do too many things. Look, I'm messing with these drives, I'm messing with these 4000 boards, and I've got the CD32 stuff all going on at once. So, yeah, as a result, I've got too many things out. So let's plug the power in a sec. Hang on. Video, audio, mouse. Where's the mouse? I'm glad it was still behaving that way though, because I don't think you would believe me. It was it's hard to believe. Right, that's both the drives connected up. I just need the IDE. Well, I won't boot from IDE, I'll boot from floppy drive again, I think. Oh, hang on, no, we'll boot from IDE actually, because then we'll get to see both the drive icons on the desktop, won't we? That's the easiest thing, and it means I don't have to have that floppy drive sit in the way. I'll disconnect the logic probe now as well, I don't need that. No power for that. Main power. Make sure these aren't short into anything. Switch it on, point you at the screen. So all being well, let's boot from the hard disk. Now we should get two drives up. Now let's find another disk so that I can make sure that both drives are actually working. Yeah, they are. Because as soon as I stuck a disk into that drive, that one lit up and the other one did as well. So you can see you've got DF2 there, so in question mark, question mark, question mark. I'll zoom you a little bit, hang on. Yeah, you can see DF2 up here. It's got a non-DOS disk in it, that's why it's showing that. Both of them have actually, and hang on, that one shouldn't though. Let's just see what that one is. Yeah, that one's sys-test, and the other one is, this one should work. Should be 2091 disk, I think. Oh, it's corrupted. I wonder if we've done a write on that or something at some point. It's coming up with a question mark there. Let's just try and format it. Hang on a minute, where's format now? Oh, do you know I hate classic workbench? Window, icons. Oh, there, format disk. DF2, format. Format. Oh, don't tell me you've now got a problem with that drive. Yeah, I think, because this is the drive we haven't had to pieces, I'll show you. It's the Commodore one. It's this one. You say can't format cylinder 0, let's try that again. Format disk, here we go, format. So if you watch the LED there, yeah, that disk is not working in it. It could be the disk. What we could do is we can try and stop that format, because it's not working. But I need to clean that up, I think that's the point I'm trying to make here. It's been in the loft for 8 years or something, so yeah, it's no wonder that that one can't read very well. And I have had discs in and out, in and out, in and out here. So let's try sys in there. See if that comes up as a non-DOS disk. I'll tell you in a sec, hang on. Nah, I can't read anything. Can't read that one. I could try June. I've got June here. Let's see if it'll read June. Nope, it's not reading discs, is it? Ugh. Anyway, that's going to be something for another video, I think. So I'll take you back over there now. I think we've seen what we need to see here. The main thing is detecting DF2 and DF3 there. I can show you the stuff that came with the cap kit actually. It was an Amiga cap kit, and you get a little sheet like that, tells you the positions of you know, the positions of each cap. Not really the positions, the marking on the silk screen. What I would do is, and what I did, and I used this in conjunction with photos I took. You know, take some photos of the board before you start removing the capacitors. I'm going to be getting off now, I think, guys. I'm going to go and get my shopping shortly, and we'll just catch up with the chat. I haven't got the energy to stream. I'm sorry to hear about that, Stephen. I know you've not been well since you had that flu or whatever it was. Maybe you've had COVID. Maybe you got COVID and you're still fighting it off or something. Hope you feel a bit better soon, though. And a pizza now, the TF360 sitting waiting to be built. Oh yeah, that'll be exciting. I hope you can do that. I hope you can find some energy to build that, Stephen. Someone said flip the jumper. Yeah, I've tried it in the position. It does work in the position. It's just like in the default position, it doesn't seem to be happy, does it? But it does now. I think we've just proven that the jumper's now okay. Right, I think, yeah, sorry it's a short stream, but like I say, I did say at the start, it was literally just finishing off the cap of that CD32, and I think we've proven that that's now working. Jumper's working on that floppy drive, but sadly I now need to dismantle that Commodore floppy drive down. I think, and clean that up as well. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for the donations. I will watch the stream back to see if I've missed anything important stuff, and yeah, I'll get back to you in the next stream. Take care, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good afternoon.